What happened to the audio? Is there no audio? This game is not suitable for children who are easily disturbed. Good to know. Boop. Individuals suffering from anxiety, depression may not have a positive experience playing this game. Wonderful! Would you like to review the content warning, which contains spoilers? Yes. I will say, hello everybody, my name is Indominus Warfare. We're playing Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Now, I have not played the first game, I have seen it though. So, I'm going to do the review. Thank you for interest in Doki Doki Literature Club. It's a horror game. Please do not take this lightly. It may not be suitable if you're affected by any of the following themes: depression, suicide, self-harm, abuse. These themes are not merely suggested but are often portrayed as realistically as possible, and thus may disturb you as if they are real. Furthermore, the above list is not 100% exhaustive. If you would like to be warned when potential sensitive content is about to occur while playing the game, detailed content warnings can be enabled in the settings menu. For those with extra concern from their mental health, a recommendation of the safest approach is to avoid playing Doki Doki Literature Club. We trust that given your understanding for your own mental health, you're able to make the decision that is right for you. Thank you for your consideration and for staying safe. By playing Doki Doki Literature Club, you agree that you have noted the game, age rating in your region, and consent. Yes, I consent. You have my consent. Hey, music! This game is not... There's so many warnings. I've never played this game, but I'm so upbeat about it. Alright. New game. Please enter your name. Anonymous. There we go. Boop. Hey! Hey! I see an annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know the kind of friend you never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I'd get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and wait and let Sayori catch up to me. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hi! I overslept again, but I caught you this time. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. Eee, you say that like you were thinking about ignoring me. That's mean and dominant. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I'll want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine, fine. But you didn't wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean, even if you wanted to. Whatever you say, Sayori. We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, Indominus, have you decided on joining a club yet? A club? I told you already, I'm really not interested in joining any clubs. I haven't been looking either. Yeah, that's not true. You told me you'd join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Sayori likes to worry a little too much about me, when I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. I feel that. Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn and how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know? And I know you're happy now, but I'd die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years, because you're not used to the real world. You can trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. Alright, alright. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? More than that, I'm surprised I can even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. Transition. Oh, hold on. Ta-da. The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no idea, but to start with the anime club. Hello? Sayori? Sayori must have come into class while I was spacing out. I look around and realize I'm the only one left in the class. But I'd catch you coming out of class, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honest, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed! You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late for your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know what? Well, that you could come to my club. Sayori. Yeah? There's no way I'm going to your club. Mimi. Sayori is vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. Since she's the first to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title Vice President. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Sorry, I'm trying not to yawn. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much anyway? Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I'd bring in a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. And I don't get why people do this. I mean, like, there's this thing, but why? I can't stand it. Don't make me promise you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead, or if she's so cunning as to have planned all this out. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go. And thus today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. I dejectedly followed Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here. I told you don't call me a new member. Yeah, I glance around the room. Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Sayori always says nice things about you. Seriously, you brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Hey, Indominus, what a nice surprise. Welcome to the club. That's a simple word. Why am I stuttering? All words escape me in this situation. And this club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry. Natsuki? The girl with the sour attitude whose name is apparently Natsuki is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. She's also one who made cupcakes, according to Sayori. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Sayori stays quiet into my ear, then turns back toward the other girls. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Don't say things like that. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Ah, well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know Monika, is that right? That's right. I don't. It's great to see you again, Indominus. Monika smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talked. We were in the same class last year. I don't know you. Monika was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic. Basically completely out of my league. Just having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monika. Come sit down, Indominus. We made room for you at the table, so you can sit next to me or Monika. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I got a little too excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? The girls have a few desks arranged before the table. As Sayori mentioned, it's been widening so that there's one space next to Monika and one space next to Sayori. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room, where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Oh, I thought I was actually going to get a choice here. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Wow! Natsuki lifts the foil tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. So cute! Voice crack, God. I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki. Well, you know. Just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs one first, then Monika. I follow. It's delicious! Sayori talks with mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around on my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. There's gotta be just one angle, right? You're not gonna go icing first. You're not gonna go bottom up. You gotta take it both. Just frosting and the cupcake all in one bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Ooh, is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. She's gonna blush. Thank you, Natsuki. Yep, she's gonna... You know, there's this thing called intuition. Why are you thanking me? It's not like haven't I heard this somewhere before? I don't know. I haven't made them for you or anything. I thought you technically did. Sayori said, well, maybe, but not for you, you know, dummy. Alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. Why do you... It's not tea club, it's not cooking club, it's literature club. Why do you... Okay. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? No, because I'll spill it on the book and myself. I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I mean, I meant that, you know? I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself with relief. I can't keep this reading up. Monika raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. So what made you consider the literature club? I was forced here. I was afraid to answer this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monika that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seems really happy here, so that's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monika, I'm surprised. How come you decided your own club? You could probably be a board member of any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Well, you know, to be honest, I can't stand all the politics about the major clubs. Feels like nothing but arguing about the budget, publicity, and how to prepare for events. Blech. I'd rather much take something I personally enjoy and make it something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monika really is a great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. And then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. You could put it in that way. Not many people are very interested in putting all the effort to start something brand new. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that they're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we can really all grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah, we'll do our best. You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls all interested in the same goal. Monika must have really worked hard to find these three. Maybe that's why they're so delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep to their level of enthusiasm about literature. So, Indominus, what kind of things do you like to read? I don't read. I'm sorry, long day. Considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga. I mutter quietly to myself, half jokingly. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. Looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking about after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is always amazing to me. And telling a good story in such foreign worlds is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Why do I have a feeling this line means more than it's going on? Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to throw you for a loop? I mean, I didn't personally play the first game, but I think, based on how it's going, obviously, it's the same exact thing as the beginning. But that's the point. Because it is deliberately taking advantage of my own lack of imagination that I haven't imagined anything different than this scenario for the second game to make me think it's a loop. So, in my mind, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus is supposed to be the second game, but in reality, it's the continuation, not the second. If that makes any sense whatsoever. He's basically making it seem like it's looping, but it's just continuing somehow? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. Love horror. I read a horror book once. I desperately grabbed something I can relate to at the minimum level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. For someone as gentle as you, I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting. Looked like you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud and Give That Back. Fine. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. I think I actually skipped something. Sayori slides up behind Monika, Natsuki, and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute. Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Aw, not a very confident writer yet. I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. Isn't she? If I remember correctly from the last game, she wrote some pretty lewd stories, didn't she? I guess it's the same for Yuri. Aw, I wanted to read everyone's poems. We all sat in silence for a moment. Okay, I have an idea, everyone. Question mark. Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monika. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Then next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way, everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it. Plus, now that we have a new member, I think it will help us get a little bit more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Indominus? I have no idea. Monika smiles warmly at me once again. Why do two of them look so nervous? Just, I don't know what he's gonna say. Monika's just like, you agree, right? Then we just have Sayori just... Hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and I lose my train of thought. All four girls stare black at me with dejected eyes. Oh my god, they look so awkward. It's like, you didn't choose me? Oh my god. But, I'm sorry, I thought... Indominus, you all... I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the eyes girls lit up. Yes, I'm so happy. Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Is she my sister or a friend? No, it's a friend, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. Hey! You really did scare me for a moment. If you really just came for the cupcakes, I'd be super pissed. I don't know. If a club said they'd give out free cupcakes, I'd go and just leave. Then that makes it official. Welcome to the Literature Club. Wow, what a warming welcome. Aw, thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone, I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share. Monika looks over at me once more. Indominus, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monika with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside of me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey Indominus, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? That's right, Sayori and I never walk home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! With that, the two of us departed the club room and make our way home. The whole way my mind wanders back and forth between the four girls, Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monika. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Alright, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'll make good fortune will find me. And I guess it all starts with writing a poem tonight. I swear, this is the exact copy of Doki Doki Literature Club. Time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. Are they just randomly moving? Oh yeah, they're just random. Okay. Fantasy. Oh, gotcha. Games. Dark. Electricity. Crimson. Papa. Aura. Anime. Sadness. Doki Doki. Vitality. Marshmallow. Destiny. Eternity. Defeat. Broken. Determination. Tenacious. And infinite. Infinite wrath. I like that. Because of my obvious name of Indominus Warfare, blah. If you don't know what my name truly means, I recommend researching it. You'll be surprised. It's not just a cool name. Hey again, Indominus. Glad to see you didn't run away from us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. Well, I assumed. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Indominus. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into a literature club that you're not accustomed to. I'm not yawning because I'm bored. I'm yawning because I'm tired. But I'm not going to stop. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Great response. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature. So's hentai. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plumped back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Indominus always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy, it's distracting. You almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? I don't know this woman. Please help me. I might be a little jealous. How come? You and Adonis can be good friends, too. Sayori? As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Wait, Sayori, that's new. Yeah, me? I'm baffled. Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? A knife! Never mind. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I won't make a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright. Well, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. How is this girl accidentally being so cute? This isn't conveying my true feelings. I just think this is a very awkward situation. She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think about it. Now that everyone else settled in, I expect Monika to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monika are having a cheerful conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in the book. I can't help but notice her intense expression while she's waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time, I feel bad for distracting her for her reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It's like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes met for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I muttered this sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave to me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Drama, love, lust. It's all stages of a book. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have two copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday, that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy two of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about anyway? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Why do I recognize that? Why did something in my brain go click? Is it from? I don't know. Alright. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with our long-lost younger sister. But as she does, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escape from a human experiment prison. While her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of relationships, and her life starts to fall apart. It's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn come from out of nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Indominus? Is she a masochist? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kind of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri's into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kind of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they are made out to be naive, for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. It's a bit loud, isn't it? Hold on. I didn't know it was that loud. Alright, I hope that's better. Sorry, I didn't realize the music was so loud, so I apologize for up to the point if it was hard to hear me. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writings fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, let me scooch up my chair because it's starting to get interesting. I might as well get started reading, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri. Yeah? Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I didn't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. Looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's and hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her copy. Once we close, we each lean in a bit, our shoulders almost touching. Ooh! It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess it makes it difficult to return the page. Here! Oh, we get new photos. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page, and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me, as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face. She's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Ah, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with her. Ah, that's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second-guesses a lot of things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment, but indominus. That's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's embarrassing that you think that. Wait! I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really don't know you're self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, sparing from her finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't much have a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little bit more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, and slip it back into my bag. Wake up. Indominus. You're not allowed to sleep yet. By the way, do you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't fully find much inspiration since I've never really done this thing before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't we find someone to share with? I can't wait! Sayori and Monika enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monika writes hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monika's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Yuri! Let's pursue this thing with Yuri. Yuri seems most experienced, so I should start with her. I can trust her opinion to be fair. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but ends up covering her face. Ooh, he's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Aha! Yuri takes a deep breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicated you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her fingers along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there's specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most notable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form fit the two together. The end result is both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's nothing you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice, and learning by example, and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased, though. Biased? How? Never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri's apologizing to herself, to me, or Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if it was a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't it supposed to be a literature club? Alright, hold on. I need to wake up for a second. Nothing like a good masochist to spruce up the mood. Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the ember glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air of the present but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. I could barely read it. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it's really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. Why am I yawning so much? I am not tired. I know I've had a long day. Stop yawning. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Uh-huh. Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Indominus. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Where is that thing I need? Dang. I apparently don't have it. I was gonna look for my glasses. My blue light ones, but whatever. They're gone. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so, nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but then I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Indominus. Me too. Who should I show my poem to next? Monika, Monika. Hey, Indominus, having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off with going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, Want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Aha. Don't worry, Indominus. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monika my poem. Great job, Indominus. I was going, in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easy for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know what? That Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Yuri likes it when the readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. I can see that from her poem. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It can take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little biased towards their own kind of styles, but I'll always help find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident, so someone who claims not to be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. Doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Before we read the poem, I just want to say, Monika's a self-aware one, right? I think so. I forget though. Hole in wall. It could have been me. It couldn't have been me. See the direction that spackle protrudes. A noisy neighbor. An angry boyfriend. I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. I can't see. I reel blind like a film let out of the sun. But it's too late. My retina's already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep. Stretching forever into nothing. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in, I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. Oh, you don't say. I get the metaphor. So, just to explain it, basically, since Monika's in the game, she thinks she's looking on the outside, but realizes she's looking at me, who's looking in at her. I get it, game, I get it. That's very cool. So what do you think? It's very free form, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure how to put it. I guess you could say that it's some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. Hold on. Theorist brain going here. I thought from the last game she's the mastermind behind it, right? An epiphany. Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. I'm sorry. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big, dark puddle of ink. So just keep moving your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye.